all right, well, we don't necessarily think Dylan's a fit, and we added this other guy that we feel like is more of a fit, and we want him to be part of the competition or whatever, we need to trade Dylan Gabriel or get rid of Dylan Gabriel in some capacity. If they do that, if they somehow manage to move Dylan Gabriel.
Dylan Gabriel, who was once viewed as a major prospect for the Browns, has now officially been shown the door following a string of controversial moments. What really has fans talking, though, is the role of Todd Monken, the Browns' newly appointed head coach, who reportedly made the call to cut ties with Gabriel not only because of disappointing play, but also because of the way he treated Shedeur Sanders. And trust me, this is where the story starts getting wild. Let's unpack everything that went down and how Gabriel's stint in Cleveland unraveled faster than anyone expected. To understand the fallout, you have to go back to the beginning of Dylan Gabriel's NFL journey, which actually started with a ton of hype. Media outlets were buzzing about him, and for a brief moment, it genuinely looked like the Browns might have found their next long-term quarterback. But things took a sharp turn once tensions began building between Gabriel and one of the league's most talked-about young talents, Shedeur Sanders. From early on, Gabriel appeared to show very little respect for Shedeur. During his very first preseason appearance, he dropped a comment that instantly raised eyebrows across the football world. He referred to Shedeur and several other players as entertainers rather than true competitors. And when you consider that Shedeur Sanders is widely seen as one of the brightest rising stars in college football, that remark hit a lot harder than Gabriel probably expected.
I'm doing. It's just part of it. You know, there's entertainers and there's competitors. And I totally understand that. And my job is to compete. And that's what I'm focused on doing.
As a fifth-round selection, Shedeur was already starting to grab attention thanks to his dynamic playmaking skills. So when someone tried to suggest that Shedeur, a player who had consistently shown toughness, focus, and undeniable talent, wasn't a real competitor, it didn't just sound disrespectful, it sounded completely out of pocket. And here's the thing, it didn't stop with just one remark. Over time, Dylan Gabriel's frustration toward Shedeur only seemed to intensify. The more snaps Gabriel got, the more he tried to minimize everything Shedeur was accomplishing. While Shedeur was busy delivering clutch throws, leading game-winning drives, and proving himself under pressure, Gabriel kept pushing the narrative that he was actually the superior quarterback. And at that point, this wasn't just friendly competition anymore. It had clearly turned personal. To make things even more heated, the media ended up pouring gasoline on the fire. Figures like Tony Grossi and Jason Lloyd, who had openly backed Gabriel from the beginning, repeatedly took shots at Shedeur Sanders. They framed Gabriel as the franchise savior, insisting he had everything needed to lead the Browns to success. Grossi and Lloyd even criticized Shedeur for mistakes that he hadn't actually made. It became obvious they were firmly in Gabriel's corner, constantly pushing the storyline that he was the better quarterback despite what fans were seeing on the field. But here's where the narrative started to fall apart. Gabriel's actual performance never lived up to all that hype. Even with media backing, his play simply wasn't convincing. Sure, he flashed potential with a few solid passes, but when the pressure was on, he struggled to come through. Meanwhile, Shedeur Sanders kept showing up with something to prove, guiding his team to win after win. Shedeur demonstrated the leadership, decision-making, and big play ability that Gabriel was still trying to find. As the season moved forward, Gabriel's struggles became impossible to ignore. Eventually, he found himself sitting on the bench, and suddenly the same media voices that once praised him began shifting their tone. Jason Lloyd, who had previously been Gabriel's biggest supporter, started adjusting the narrative by claiming Gabriel might still surpass Shedeur if placed in the right offensive system. Lloyd kept arguing that Gabriel was better at managing plays and even suggested he could thrive in Todd Monken's system. But anyone who had actually been watching the games knew what the reality was. Gabriel simply wasn't operating on the same level as Shedeur Sanders.
I think he can get them lined up. I think he can complete passes, get the ball out quickly, and keep the chains moving and not turn the ball over. And that's what they're looking for.
Even with all the hype and heavy media support surrounding him, Gabriel simply couldn't deliver where it mattered most. Week after week, he failed to match the level of playmaking, composure, and decision-making that Shedeur consistently showed on the field. And then there was the drama happening away from the game. Dylan Gabriel's fiancée jumped onto social media and publicly went after Shedeur Sanders, throwing disrespectful comments his way that many people felt crossed a serious line. This wasn't just light trash talk or competitive banter. It turned into a direct attack on Shedeur's character and his ability as a player. What made the situation worse was the silence from Gabriel himself. He didn't step in to defend Shedeur or attempt to cool things down. Instead, he allowed the controversy to keep spreading without saying a word. That moment ended up becoming a major turning point for the Browns organization. Up until then, Gabriel had still been receiving the benefit of the doubt from the previous coaching staff. But between his struggles on the field and the growing off-field distractions, the situation was quickly becoming a problem the team couldn't ignore. Then another major shift happened when former Browns head coach Kevin Stefanski was dismissed. Suddenly, attention shifted directly to Dylan Gabriel and his future with the team. Fans and analysts started asking the same question. Would Gabriel survive the coaching change, or was his time in Cleveland finally running out? Then Todd Monken stepped in, and right away it became clear that things were about to change. The new head coach wasted no time setting the tone for his leadership. During his very first press conference, Monken never mentioned Dylan Gabriel's name at all. That silence said more than any statement could. There was no praise for Gabriel and no discussion about his potential moving forward. Monken had clearly made up his mind. He wasn't interested in bringing along a player surrounded by constant drama, especially one who had openly disrespected a teammate with the talent and upside of Shedeur Sanders. Monken wanted a fresh start and a different culture. In the end, it was Todd Monken who made the decisive move to remove Dylan Gabriel from the roster, and according to reports, the decision went far beyond just his inconsistent performances during games. It also came down to the repeated signs of disrespect directed toward Shedeur Sanders. Monken made it clear that he wanted players who could represent the team the right way, both on and off the field. For him, discipline, accountability, and professionalism mattered just as much as talent. And in his eyes, Gabriel simply wasn't meeting that standard anymore. Gabriel's petty rivalry and those personal shots at Shedeur had no place inside the Browns organization. And just like that, Dylan Gabriel's time with the team came to an abrupt end. No more jabs aimed at Shedeur, no more unnecessary drama hanging over the locker room. Gabriel can still sit back with his fiancée and keep talking, but now it won't be happening while wearing a Browns uniform. In many ways, this entire situation became a reminder for every player in the league. What you do away from the field can matter just as much as what you produce on it. Meanwhile, Shedeur Sanders has officially been named the Browns' starting quarterback for the upcoming season. And trust me, that announcement carries serious weight. The Browns are finally committing to a quarterback who has repeatedly shown he can handle the spotlight. Todd Monken made it even clearer with a statement that grabbed everyone's attention. He referred to Shedeur as an elite playmaker. Take a moment and really think about that phrase, elite playmaker. That's not the kind of language a coach uses when he's unsure about his quarterback. That's not the tone of someone who's still testing different options. Todd Monken has watched the film, analyzed the throws, and evaluated the decision-making under pressure, and he's reached a clear conclusion. Shedeur Sanders is the real deal. So, while Dylan Gabriel fades out of the picture, Shedeur Sanders is stepping forward as the new face of the Browns offense. This moment now belongs to him. It's his opportunity to silence critics and prove he's the quarterback capable of taking this franchise to another level. With Monken fully backing him and the locker room rallying behind him, Shedeur's path towards something special is wide open. And as for Dylan Gabriel, the outcome sends a clear message. Disrespect and unnecessary drama won't carry you very far in this league. At the end of the day, your production on the field is what keeps you around. And for Gabriel, that simply wasn't enough. That's all we've got for today, everyone. Drop your thoughts about the Dylan Gabriel situation down in the comments below. Do you think Todd Monken made the right call by moving on from him? And how do you feel about Shedeur Sanders being named the Browns' starting quarterback? We definitely want to hear your take on it. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss the next update. Catch you in the next one.